It's DSP's Top 7 Worst Gaming Trends of 2013. The 7 horrible trends that affected gaming in general this year. Number 4. Xbox One and its ridiculously anti-gamer policies. You know, this may be beating a dead horse, but we have to bring up the absolute debacle that was the announcement and official launch of the Xbox One in the year of 2013. I have to say, for the very first time, we saw a game development company decide to make some of the most weird, boneheaded, anti-gamer policies and apply those policies to its new gaming console during its original announcements. So let's just review for the sake of argument, even though most people already know these facts. Number 1, the Xbox One was forced to be bundled with the Microsoft Kinect 2.0, despite the fact that the common gamer has basically rejected motion controls and does not want them anymore. Number 2, the Xbox One was going to have an always online system that required you to always have the console connected to the internet at least once per every 24 hours. If the console was not connected to the internet once every 24 hours, it would cease to work. That's right, it would basically be a brick. No online features would work at all. You wouldn't be able to play games. I mean, how on earth did that benefit the gamer at all? Especially in a day and age when not everyone has great internet. When you've got younger people living with their parents and their parents don't want them eating up the internet with a gaming console all the time, how could you possibly think that this was a good idea? And then, of course, the kicker, the one that was the trifecta that pretty much spoiled the console for everyone, the absolutely ridiculous DRM requirements that were going to be for the console, being that you could only have the game and only play it under your account and one other account. You couldn't have multiple people play the game. You wouldn't be able to trade games in anymore. It was just an absolute nightmare. And when Microsoft at first talked about all these things publicly, people started following up and they're like, really? Do you really have to be online all the time? Do you really always need to connect? And Microsoft reps basically dodged the questions for months until finally at E3, it was the Microsoft then CEO of Interactive Entertainment, Don Mattrick, who came out and admitted, listen, the Xbox One is an online-only console. If you don't have good internet or you don't have internet at all, the Xbox 360 is the machine for you. But it's not the fact that Microsoft decided to make this kind of design choice that baffled gamers. It was their overall attitude when it came to people giving a backlash, saying, well, that's not cool, we don't really like that. We'd like to have it the old way where you could trade games in, I could blend games to a friend, I don't have to have my online connected all the time. Microsoft basically said, we know better than you. We know that online all the time, that DRM, that motion controls and voice activation controls with the Kinect is the wave of the future, but you don't want it. That was really Microsoft's response. Oh, a very elitist, hoity-toity response saying they're smarter than the common gamer and they're going to do whatever they want. To which basically the entire internet said, well, screw you. We're not buying the Xbox One. We're all going to get PS4s because the PS4 has all those things that we liked about console gaming. To which Microsoft, of course, completely flipped on its head, did a 180, removed most of those features except for the Microsoft Kinect from the console, although it was later leaked that it was a lie. The console does not need the Kinect to function. It works perfectly fine without it, as I can vouch, because mine is disconnected. So it really, the whole thing made absolutely no sense. And then the kicker is that Don Mattrick at E3 insulted armed forces when he said, some guy on a nuclear sub said that he doesn't have internet. I don't even know what that means. Don, it means that he works on the military and he doesn't have the luxuries that a fucking normal US citizen has because he's sacrificing his life to protect the country. You stupid, elitist douchebag. So there's a reason why Don Mattrick doesn't work for Microsoft anymore. Thank God that Microsoft did go back on most of its choices. But if this is a trend of console developers saying they know better than the common gamer, and they're going to institute crazy anti-gamer policies into their future hardware, this could be the beginning of the end. Because let's face it, who's going to buy a console that has all that stuff in it? And let's be completely honest here. Thank goodness that Microsoft has direct competition from Sony. Because if we didn't have the PS4, a console that didn't have all these ridiculous anti-gamer policies and limitations to directly compete with the Xbox One, we might have not had a choice. It was the Xbox One or the highway. So thank goodness that's not the case. Competition always breeds better innovation. It makes these companies strive to be better. Thank goodness that Sony made the PS4 completely differently and completely pro-gamer. And sorry, Microsoft, you flubbed it, regardless of the fact that you may make a recovery in the long run. At least for this year, your completely anti-gamer policies were a laughingstock. Coming up next, the same exact issue applies to a completely different thing for disastrous results for most. Check it out.